The Deltan aliens laughed mockingly as their enormous war fleet encircled the crippled human ship USS Retribution, which looked nothing more than a floating scrap heap after barely surviving the fierce space battle. But the Deltans' arrogance blinded them to the trap they had flown right into. Inside the battered hulk of the Retribution, Commander Robert Williams and his skeleton crew held their breath, not daring to move a muscle and risk giving away their ruse. They had spent months learning to operate the Retribution's experimental living metal hull and AI battle systems, preparing for this very moment. Now they had lured the Deltan fleet in by making it look like the Retribution was on its last legs, ready for the taking. Admiral Wren, the vain Deltan commander, sneered at the lifeless human ship on his view screen. He gloated openly on all frequencies so the humans could hear his mocking words. "Pathetic humans, your resistance is futile. Did you really think your primitive rust bucket stood a chance against the might of the Deltan Armada? We will board your ship, strip it of anything useful, and leave you to rot in the void. All your colonies will be next." Wren signaled his assault shuttles to begin their approach. Williams knew it was now or never. He gave the order. "All hands, commence Operation Trojan Horse." The human crew took their places at the strange glowing terminals that covered the Retribution's bridge. Williams placed his hands on the central control podium, closing his eyes as he felt his mind meld with the ship's powerful AI. The crew, too, merged their consciousnesses with the vessel through their neural link helmets, imbuing it with their combined skills, knowledge, and sheer force of will. Deep in the Retribution's core, an ancient alien artifact discovered by the humans pulsed brightly. Its cosmic energy surged through the ship's circuits and conduits, empowering its weapons and defenses to levels far beyond anything the Deltans had faced before. The Retribution began to change, much to the shock of the approaching Deltan shuttles. The derelict exterior shimmered and flowed like liquid mercury. Gun batteries emerged from the hull, crackling with arcane energies. Point defense lasers swiveled to lock onto the Deltan craft. Shimmering energy shields snapped into place around the Retribution. The human warship had come to life, and it was hungry for vengeance against the alien oppressors. On the Deltan flagship's bridge, Wren's arrogant sneer melted into a mask of fear and confusion as he watched the Retribution transform before his eyes. A human face materialized on his view screen, Commander Williams, his eyes gleaming with focused intensity. "Admiral Wren, I want you to witness the true power of humanity's resolve firsthand," Williams declared. "You underestimated us. That mistake will be your last." All Wren could do was scream in frustrated rage and terror as the Retribution tore into his assault shuttles and warships like an avenging angel of metal and fire. The humans had to win this battle. The fate of Earth and all its colonies hung in the balance. This was the day the Deltan Empire learned that the humans would not go quietly into the night. The war for the galaxy had only just begun. As the Retribution hurtled through the void towards Earth, Commander Robert Williams gathered his senior officers in the ship's command center. Lieutenant Commander Alex Thompson, Williams' right-hand man and closest friend, stood at his side as they pored over the data from their recent clash with the Deltans. "Their shields held up better than we expected," Thompson noted, his brow furrowed in concentration. "And their weapons pack a hell of a punch. We're going to need every advantage we can get if we want to stand a chance against a full-scale invasion." Williams nodded grimly. "Agreed. But we're not out of tricks yet. The Retribution's AI is still learning, adapting. We'll find a way to even the odds." The officers worked tirelessly, analyzing every scrap of data, searching for any weakness in the Deltans' formidable technology. They knew that the fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. Light years away on the Deltan homeworld, Admiral Wren stood before the towering holographic visage of Emperor Zorgax. The Emperor's rage was palpable, his eyes blazing with fury as he glared down at the disgraced admiral. "You allowed a single human ship to humiliate the might of the Deltan Empire," Zorgax snarled, his voice booming through the cavernous throne room. "This failure is unacceptable, Wren. You will redeem yourself or face the consequences." Wren bowed his head. his fists clenched at his sides. "I will not fail you again, my Emperor. I will lead our forces to Earth and crush the humans once and for all. Their precious retribution will be ours, and its secrets will belong to the Deltan Empire." Zorgax leaned forward, his holographic form shimmering. "See that you do, Admiral. The future of our empire depends on it." As the Retribution approached Earth's solar system, a transmission crackled through the ship's comm systems. The face of UNSC Admiral James Hawkins appeared on the interface, his expression grave. "Commander Williams, we've detected a massive Deltan fleet on the outskirts of the system. They're headed straight for Earth. I need you to lead a task force to intercept them before they can reach our homeworld." Williams straightened, his dedication hardening. "We'll stop them, Admiral. The Retribution and her crew are ready." The Retribution, flanked by a formation of elite human warships, set a course to confront the approaching Deltan invasion force. As the two fleets converged, the Retribution's living metal hull rippled with anticipation, the ship's AI merging once more with the minds of its human crew. Space erupted in a maelstrom of weapons fire and explosions as the battle commenced. The Retribution darted through the Deltan formation, its advanced weapons carving a path of destruction through the enemy ships. Williams and his crew worked as one with their ship, their combined skills and instincts guiding the Retribution in a deadly dance. But the Deltans had learned from their previous encounter. Their tactics shifted, their ships moving to counter the Retribution's unique capabilities. The tide of battle began to turn. Amidst the chaos, the Retribution found itself locked in a duel with Admiral Wren's massive flagship, the DES Invictus. The two titans clashed, their weapons sending shockwaves through the fabric of space. Williams and Wren, two commanders driven by their unwavering willpower, pitted their wits against each other in a desperate struggle for supremacy. Despite the valiant efforts of the human task force, the relentless onslaught of the Deltan fleet took its toll. Human ships fell, their hulls shattered and crews lost to the unforgiving void. Even the mighty Retribution, its living metal hull straining to keep pace with the mounting damage, began to falter. On the bridge, warning lights flashed and alarms blared. Consoles sparked and smoked, the ship's systems pushed beyond their limits. Williams gripped the command podium, his nucleus tightening, as he surveyed the grim situation unfolding before him. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and the weight of that responsibility bore down on Williams like a crushing force. He knew that the decisions he made in the next few moments could determine the course of the war and the future of his species. With grim persistence, Williams turned to his crew, his eyes blazing with grit. They had come too far to let the Deltans win. They would fight to their last breath and beyond to protect their homeworld and their people. The Retribution, battered but unbroken, surged forward once more, ready to meet its destiny head-on. Williams looked at his crew, their faces etched with dogged dedication. "We have one option left," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We must fully merge with the artifact." The crew nodded, understanding the gravity of their decision. They gathered around the pulsing alien relic, its ethereal glow intensifying as if sensing their intent. "On my mark," Williams commanded. They placed their hands on the artifact's surface. "Now!" A surge of energy coursed through their bodies. Williams felt as if his very atoms were being torn apart and reassembled. He gritted his teeth, fighting the urge to scream as the artifact's power rewrote his very being. Through the haze of pain, Williams sensed the ship changing around them. The Retribution's hull flowed like liquid metal, expanding and twisting into new forms. Massive tendrils erupted from its surface, jam-packed with weaponry beyond human comprehension. As the transformation completed, Williams opened his eyes. He was the ship. The ship was him. Every system, every weapon, every atom of the Retribution's being was an extension of his will. Without hesitation, Williams' Retribution unleashed a wave of energy that rippled through space. Deltan ships crumpled and exploded in its wake. The Invictus narrowly avoided destruction, but chaos engulfed the enemy fleet. "All ships, rally to the Retribution!" Williams' voice boomed across all frequencies. The remaining human vessels fell in behind him, emboldened by this display of power. Admiral Wren's face appeared on the Retribution's view screen, his eyes wide with disbelief. "What manner of devilry is this?" he sputtered. Williams didn't respond. He didn't need to. The Retribution surged forward, its new appendages lashing out at enemy ships. Delton weapons fire splashed harmlessly off its hull as the massive vessel tore through their formation. Human ships followed in the Retribution's wake, exploiting gaps in the enemy's defenses. Delton vessels exploded in silent balls of fire as the tide of battle shifted dramatically. Wren's voice crackled over the comms once more. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human flagship." A barrage of energy beams and missiles converged on the Retribution. Williams felt each impact, but the ship's living hull absorbed and adapted to the assault. He retaliated, unleashing a salvo that shredded several Delton cruisers. The Retribution and Invictus circled each other, trading devastating blows. Williams pushed his newfound capabilities to their limits, the ship's form constantly shifting to gain tactical advantages. As the battle raged on, Williams systematically targeted key ships in the Delton fleet. With each destroyed vessel, the enemy's coordination further deteriorated. On the Invictus's bridge, Wren watched in horror as his mighty armada crumbled before this transformed human vessel. His tactical display was a sea of red, indicating crippling losses across his fleet. Wren's hand hovered over the ship's controls as he faced an impossible choice: continue fighting and face certain destruction, or retreat and abandon their invasion of Earth. The fate of the Delton Empire hung in the balance as Wren wrestled with his decision. Admiral Wren clenched his fists, his pride warring with his duty. The Retribution tore through his fleet like a scythe through wheat, leaving destruction in its wake. His tactical display blinked with an ocean of red, crippled and destroyed Delton ships. "Damn the humans!" he snarled. But even as rage coursed through him, cold logic prevailed. They couldn't win this fight. Not today. Wren took a deep breath, steadying himself. "All ships, disengage and retreat. Fall back to Rally Point Epsilon." His officers stared at him in disbelief. Wren's voice hardened. "Now." The Delton fleet turned tail and fled, their engines flaring as they pushed to maximum acceleration. Wren watched the Retribution grow smaller on his view screen, expecting pursuit at any moment. But the monstrous human ship held position, allowing them to escape. On the Retribution's bridge, Williams felt the thrum of power coursing through the ship, through him. They'd won a decisive victory, but at what cost? His mind reeled from the alien sensations flooding his consciousness. "Disengage pursuit," he ordered, his voice echoing strangely in his own ears. "Let them go." Williams closed his eyes, focusing on severing the connection with the artifact. It fought him, tendrils of energy clinging to his thoughts. With a surge of willpower, he tore free. The Retribution's hull shimmered, reverting to its previous form. On the bridge, the crew slumped in their seats, utterly drained. Williams stumbled, catching himself on a nearby console. "Status report," he croaked. "Earth is secure, sir," Lieutenant Thompson replied, his voice weak. "The Delton fleet is in full retreat." Williams nodded, fighting off a wave of exhaustion. "Good work, everyone. But this isn't over. We need to prepare for their next move." In the following days, as the crew recovered, Williams met with UNSC brass to plan their next steps. They pored over star charts and tactical readouts, devising strategies to fortify Earth and its colonies. "We need to coordinate our defenses across all fronts," Williams insisted. "The Deltons won't make the same mistake twice." Meanwhile, on the Delton homeworld, Emperor Zorgax's fury shook the very foundations of his palace. Admiral Wren stood before him, head bowed but spine straight. "You have failed me, Wren," Zorgax hissed. "Your incompetence has cost us dearly." Wren met the Emperor's gaze. "I take full responsibility, my liege, but I swear to you, I will not rest until the humans are crushed beneath our heel." Zorgax's eyes narrowed. "See that you don't. You will lead our next offensive, with the Void Reavers at your command." Wren's eyes widened. The Void Reavers were the stuff of legend, even among the Deltans. Bred for war, enhanced with terrible psionic powers. This was his chance at redemption. As you command, Emperor, Ren bowed deeply. In the depths of a secret Deltan facility, Ren stood before rows of stasis pods. Each contained a Void Reaver, their alien features twisted in frozen snarls. He felt a chill run down his spine as he sensed their latent power. "Wake them," he ordered. Alarms blared across the UNSC command center. Williams rushed to the main display, his face grim as he read the incoming reports. "Multiple colonies have gone dark," he announced. "We're detecting widespread comm disruptions and sabotage across our supply lines." Admiral Hawkins cursed. "How is this possible? Our defenses should have detected any Deltan incursion." Williams's mind raced, piecing together the puzzle. "Unless they've found a way to slip past our sensors, some new stealth technology, or—" A chill ran down his spine as he remembered intercepted Deltan communications, mentioning Void Reavers. "We need to adapt fast," Williams declared. "Whatever these Void Reavers are, they're targeting our vulnerabilities with surgical precision. We need to shore up our defenses and find a way to counter their abilities." As the UNSC scrambled to respond, Williams couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The Deltans were probing their defenses, searching for weaknesses, but to what end? He placed a hand on the Retribution's hull, feeling the dormant power of the artifact thrumming within. Whatever the Deltans were planning, humanity would be ready. They had to be. The Void Reavers struck without warning. Earth's defense grid lit up with countless unidentified contacts as Deltan stealth ships materialized in low orbit. Alarms blared across every military installation on the planet. In UNSC headquarters, Admiral Hawkins watched in horror as reports flooded in from colonies across human space. "They're hitting us everywhere at once," he said, his voice tight. "New Shanghai has gone dark. Titan Base isn't responding. We've lost contact with half the frontier outposts." William stood at Hawkins's side, his face a mask of concentration as he studied the tactical displays. "They're probing for weaknesses," he said, "testing our defenses before the main assault." A junior officer burst into the room. "Sirs, we have enemy forces on the ground. They've breached the perimeter at Site Charlie." Hawkins swore. How the hell did they get past our orbital defenses? "Psionic cloaking," Williams replied grimly. "The Void Reavers are masking their ships somehow. We need to get the Retribution back here now." As if on cue, the massive warship dropped out of slipspace in high Earth orbit. Williams felt a surge of hope at the sight of humanity's most powerful weapon. "All hands, battle stations," he barked into the comm. "Prepare for immediate ground deployment. We need to push these bastards off our planet." The Retribution's hull shimmered as it began its descent, weapon systems powering up. Williams led a strike team to the deployment bay, his mind already formulating tactics to counter the Reavers' psionic abilities. As their dropship rocketed towards the surface, Williams addressed his team. "Remember your training. Don't let them inside your head. We hit hard and fast, understood?" A chorus of affirmatives rang out. The bay doors opened, revealing utter chaos below. Smoke rose from burning buildings as human and Deltan forces clashed in the streets. Williams' team hit the ground running, plasma bolts sizzling past their heads. They fought their way through the city, pushing back the alien invaders block by block. But something felt off. The Void Reavers seemed to anticipate their every move, always one step ahead. Williams tapped his neural link. "Retribution, we need fire support at these coordinates." Silence. "Retribution, do you copy?" Static filled the comm channel. Then a garbled message came through. "Psionic dampening field. Artifact offline. Systems compromised." Williams' blood ran cold. They'd lost their trump card. The Retribution was just another warship now, stripped of its incredible power. He turned to his team, their faces etched with exhaustion and fear. "Change of plans," he said. "We find the source of that dampening field and shut it down. It's our only chance." As they pressed deeper into enemy territory, Williams knew the fate of humanity hung in the balance. They had to succeed, despite the toll. The alternative was extinction.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.